Hey guys, it's Katy at scrappinkaty.ctmh.com, and I am joining the creative design team during the month of February 2021 to bring you creative ways to love your stash, and we're challenging you to do the same. Now, here is a look of the calendar for this month, and I'll be posting every Tuesday, so you'll want to make sure that you subscribe and come back for that. Now, I have pulled out some extremely old PML cards, which is close to my heart's equivalent of pocket scrapbooking. These are from the Avonlea collection, and I am looking at the current January-February catalog at these little cute little accent pieces for cards and layouts. And I am hoping to make a whole bunch of those using these Avonlea PML cards. So let's get started and see what I have come up with. So the first thing I'm going to do is just take some of those cards and fussy cut out some of the elements that I know that I will be using. Now I'm looking for bigger elements as well as little bitty small elements, and not only on these little embellishment cards that I'll be making, but also some that I can incorporate into my scrapbook layouts. My hope is to actually use these throughout the month and show you what I do with them on cards as well as scrapbook layouts, so I can just put this embellishment piece down on my layout or my card. Now, this is not an original idea. I did take this idea from one of my fellow makers, MK. She does the best at taking scraps of paper and making little embellishments. So I have really cut everything I want, and then I'm going to take some of our thin cuts. Now here I have the hexagon, and you can see where I'm just putting those hexagons over some pieces of that PML card. And I'm just going to run it through my die cut machine, and then that will just be an added embellishment. And I can either add those to my card or layout, or I will actually use some of them on the PML cards that I'll be creating at the end of this video. So I'm just going to run this back through a couple of more times using that hexagon. I love our hexagons because they're stitched. Now right here is where I'm going to start creating in front of you some of these cards. So I did cut apart that cupcake with the cherry on top. So I'm just adding 3D foam tape to that. And I'm adhering that directly to a PML card that I've done nothing to. It is as it's designed. And I am going to put that a little high up just in case I put that on a card and want to add a sentiment underneath that cupcake. So for this one, I'm playing around with some of the embellishments, and then I decide that I'm going to actually cover up that little pennant because it really has to do with maybe documenting your favorites. So I'm taking the February 2021 stamp of the month, and there is a sentiment that says love, joy, and happiness. And I've just stamped that on a strip of white daisy cardstock, and then I'm going to dovetail the end of that. Now, this image does have an XO at the end, so I've cut that off, and I'm just going to use tape adhesive to cover up that sentiment that is already on this card. Before I put up my toffee ink, I have decided to take one of our stencils. This is from the Stencil Pack 3, and I'm just going to take our mini blending tool and just rub ink over those little Swiss crosses, and then put just a little bit on the other side as well. And I love the dingy look that this has added to this Picture My Life card. So for this one, I have decided to pull out one of my favorite stamp sets. When I first saw this stamp set in the January-February catalog, I had to have it. But to be honest, this is actually the virgin inking of this stamp set. It's called Whole Latte Love, and it just plays on lattes and coffees and everything else. So you see those little coffee sleeves and then the coffee cup. That's actually a thin cut that I ran through my die cut machine off camera. And then as well as that little heart, and I just cut that from those PML cards as well. And the little sentiment that I decided to stamp on there was coffee is my craft fuel. And I foresee this little embellishment going on a layout where I have a Starbucks cup in hand, or maybe even my favorite coffee cup here at home. So I did decide to just use some thin 3D foam dots on the back of that cute little heart and attach it to that coffee sleeve. And then I am going to take one of the little pieces that I cut from the PML card and I'm going to put it up at the top left. And it says, "My dream for the future." Who's with me there? I would love to just sit around and drink coffee, and all my other friends up in the north who are getting snow, while in Texas it's 80 degrees. But I digress. So this next one, I took a tag and I'm only going to apply adhesive on the bottom of it. And I envision this kind of being maybe tucking some journal or a picture behind there. And then the sentiment up at the top says, "What I love about." And so I am taking another PML card from this Avonlea collection, and I am taking a thin cut, an alphabet thin cut, and I just ran it through my die cut machine. And so now I have the word "you." So the finished PML card will say, "What I love about you." And then there were a couple of little washi tape pieces that I cut from another card. So I'm just going to adhere those down near that pennant that's actually pre-printed on that tag. So I've got that done, and then now I can adhere these letters. Now I'll leave links to all the products that are still available down below, but like I said, this Avonlea is old, it is retired. This challenge for this month is using our stash, so I won't have a lot of links to the products that I've used, but I will leave what I can down below, and this thin cut is definitely one to add to your list. Now keep in mind that tag does lift up just in case I want to tuck something behind. So now let's take a closer look at the ones I did on camera, and then I did do a couple off camera. Again, I loved the ones with the coffee. Those can go on cards, maybe a gift card holder. That is going to be a perfect addition to a birthday card. And then I did this camera one off camera as well. So now I'm going to just add a little bit to a couple of these cards. For that camera, there is a pre-printed heart. So I'm going to grab our wood heart shapes, and I'm just going to attach that cute little heart. Now there are several sizes, and these are still available. So I will leave that link down below. And these are wonderful for cards and layouts. You can stamp on them with pattern stamps. You can color them with either your ink pads or your markers. Really, they're just so versatile. So I've added that heart to the center of that camera, and then I am going to take a clear shimmer brush and add to the top of that cherry on that cupcake, because every cupcake needs a little bit of shimmer and shine, in my opinion. Now, also keep in mind, while I did add a lot to these little embellishment pieces, there's just so much more that you could add. You could add thread jumbles, you could add glitter gems, you could add staples, you could add anything you want. And here are some still shots to kind of just show you the detail of these. Again, we'll be here all month encouraging you to bust that stash and use up those things. Tomorrow is Carrie, and I will come back tomorrow and post a direct link to her video in case you're watching this later. But go ahead and feel free to subscribe to my channel so you'll be alerted next week when I post another video using our stash.